The countdown has begun. We now know that we are less than a month away from Alonzo and the beginning of the smart contract era of Cardano. Ready? Let's go. We're barely within a 30-day timeline for smart contracts on Cardano mainnet, and things are already starting to get really frothy. This may only ramp up the closer we get to Alonzo. It's getting to the point where the anticipation for this event may be as significant in Cardano as a halvening event in Bitcoin. Triple H announced it this morning, Alonzo hardfork combinator event, September 12th. 99.9% of you already know what that means, but if you don't, that is going to be the launch of smart contracts on the Cardano mainnet. And this has seemed to have an immediate effect on what I'll just generically term as Cardano adoption. Very similar in my mind to all the halvening events I've seen over the years in Bitcoin and in Litecoin. It's like all of a sudden this news hits. Something good is about to happen in that blockchain project. Of course, in these proof of work projects, it's always been related to scarcity. The block validation reward is being cut in half. There will be increased scarcity. We've also seen this to some extent with big burn events in some projects. It's always been related to scarcity. And I think that's because people understand things like scarcity. Another thing that people understand is big steps up in functionality, like with Cardano right now. Pretty much everybody who's even, sort of casually familiar with, anything beyond Gen 1 in blockchain understands that there's a thing called smart contracts and it's good. And so this is really easy news for media outlets to latch onto. Cardano announces smart contracts to be launched on September 12th. And all of a sudden, this momentum starts building. And we saw that today. If you were paying any attention at all today, you saw some things happening, some frothiness happening. And I think that's because this is very easy to understand. When Triple H says, hey, legit, we're going to have smart contracts in less than 30 days, everybody sits up and pays attention. All of a sudden, it's like, what? Whoa, there might be a disruptor of Ethereum on the block in less than 30 days. Everybody understands that. Hey, there is going to be another blockchain that's decentralized in the top 5 that has smart contracts. That's something that hasn't really existed before, and everybody understands that. They know that Cardano was in that top 5 of crypto projects, period, even counting projects that aren't decentralized. They know that Cardano is a very large cap crypto project, and hearing that it will have smart contracts and be on a level playing field with Ethereum, everybody understands that and they get really frothy about it. What they should have gotten super frothy about was something that happened over 3 years ago. And in all fairness, it's something that they probably couldn't possibly have understood. On April 26th of 2018, Charles went into the Ethereum subreddit and he posted this thread. It was a repost of a tweet he'd made earlier that day, and the thread was called Proof of Stake is Solved. Proof of Stake is Solved. This title is probably one of the more significant things that's happened in the Cardano ecosystem. And if you're a Cardano fan, you might even argue one of the more significant things that's happened in terms of the development behind Generation 3 blockchains. Charles posted, of all the papers IOHK research has written, this one is the most significant. It's a major advancement for proof of stake. Now proof of stake has nearly identical properties to proof of work. Welcome to the age of Ouroboros Genesis. Not everybody understood what this meant or what was going on, but someone who did was Vitalik Buterin. He obviously took note of this. He immediately made a post that he edited, it looks like twice. And he spent his entire post sort of questioning the significance of this, if there was anything significant at all. He says, thanks for publishing. Can you try to summarize in a few sentences what the key innovation is and how it improves on your previous designs? Sounds innocent enough. Then he summarized the previous designs, kind of dismissively, asked some innocent sounding questions, but Charles came back, answered him. Vitalik came back to Charles. Charles came back to Vitalik. And Vitalik basically dismissed the significance of this innovation. But I think this is the thing that really everybody should have gotten excited about. It kind of flew under the radar. A lot of people who are sort of watching the development of proof of stake paid attention because I think a lot of people realized that if IOHK had truly solved proof of stake, then they could add smart contracts on top of that later. But the real innovation was going to be solving the blockchain trilemma. How do you have scalability, security, and decentralization all at once? Many different blockchains had figured out how to get one or two of those, but how do you get all three at once? When I saw this, the first thought in my mind was, is this possible? Have they actually solved proof of stake? And of course, for Vitalik, the answer to that was no. But I think this was the really big innovation that everybody could have gotten excited about. But like all things in tech, really, and definitely in crypto and the blockchain space, the public doesn't get super excited about the actual breakthroughs. They get really excited when they finally hear something that's very black and white that they understand. We saw that with the transition from Byron to Shelley. All of a sudden, we had staking. People understand, is staking available or is staking not available? As soon as it became clear on a black and white binary basis that staking was going to exist on a certain date, we saw this huge wave of adoption. Now we're seeing the same thing. Everybody understands we truly are going to have smart contracts on Cardano, and there's going to be another wave of adoption. But Cardano probably needs to do some crafting of expectations here because with any of these big transitions, like Byron to Shelley, like a Bitcoin or a Litecoin Halvening event, there's always this buy the rumor, sell the news phenomenon in terms of adoption. In the case of Cardano turning on smart contracts, that's probably only going to be reinforced by immediate comparisons between these sort of infant smart contracts, dApps running on Cardano to their counterparts on Ethereum that have been up and running for years at this point. There's probably going to be a faux outcry from the Ethereum crowd. Why do I say that it's a faux outcry? Because I think what's going to happen is as soon as smart contracts launch on Cardano and there are actually a few things running, when there are actually a few things running, I think we're going to see a bunch of comparisons. And it's going to be people saying, hey, I used this platform on Cardano, and here are the 10 million reasons why it completely sucks compared to the exact same version of that thing on Ethereum. I think we're going to see a lot of that in the first few days. And it makes sense. A lot of people have invested, probably huge amounts of time building on Ethereum, or they've invested huge unhealthy percentages of their personal wealth in various things running on Ethereum. And for them, Cardano coming out with smart contracts is a very bad thing. I mean, even today, everybody's trying to decide if Cardano is going to be the number 5 biggest project in all of crypto, or if it's going to be the number 3 biggest project in all of crypto. And we don't even have smart contracts yet. As soon as we do, this is going to be very threatening to all the people who have invested their whole lives basically in Ethereum. And so I think we're going to see kind of an intense outcry at the user experience and the functionality and all these things in sort of the opening months of smart contracts on Cardano. But I mean, those are the opening moments of the game. That's just the very beginning. What I think is really going to be important is what this all looks like a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 7 years from now. And I think that is going to heavily favor Cardano, but we'll all get to watch it unfold in public. Talk to you tomorrow.